Welcome to Great Talking Entertainment. I'm your host, KJ, and this is the YouTube channel where I review movies and TV shows from all your favorite superheroes, including Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Now let's go, baby. Welcome back to the YouTube channel, everyone. My name is KJ. And today's my spoiler review for the new series on Netflix, His and Her Limited Series. This is my spoiler review of episode 5. If you have not seen this show, please pause this. But before you go, could you hit the thumbs up button, aka the like button? That would help my YouTube channel out. And I thank you guys in advance. Come back and let me know what you think about episode 5 of Netflix's limited series, His and Hers, in the comments below. What did you think about episode 5? Who do you think is the murder mystery? How do you feel? Did you like her or don't you like it? Let me know in the comments below. So again, this is my spoiler review. Y'all been warned. Now let's get into it. This episode continues on as we get a narrative of Anna, and she's just talking about the word anger, and she says anger what wakes her up every morning. Within that narrative, she also says like she takes her anger, and it just depends where you place your anger at and how to use it, basically. And this is setting up the tone of like who Anna is as a person. You know, this shows like an eerie feeling, like maybe she's not as good as person as she is, and maybe she's done more than what it meets the eye, which this kind of right here at this moment makes Rachel Hopkins kind of somewhat innocent, even though she was a bully, but it doesn't give her the right to do it if she's the one that committed the murder. And then the next scene, as this sets up of like for Detective Piera, and she brought up some theories and has some really evidence and some connections, right, that can convince like this could be an idea for this investigation. And Piera puts a photo of Helene Wang's like photo of her forehead because somebody wrote the word liar, and Helen on Helen basically. And we know that Helen is kind of like portrayed when she was a kid or a teenager that she was the right hand man or the right hand woman to Rachel. You know, one was mean, one did the dirty work basically. And this obviously, Detective Harper is in shook, and he's showing panic, and Detective Pierre is seeing this because he mentions that, hey, we need to question his sister, and he doesn't like that. And, you know, he's trying to switch it up, but again, he's just worried about that they're going to find out that him and Rachel were doing the McNasty. And I think that's what he's mainly focusing on. Right? And so he's trying to change this, but she's not buying it. And then Detective Jack went to go see Clyde Duffy and confronted him, and he uses this like tactical thing that a corrupt cop usually does on a show, says things to convince you that you are guilty and convince you to say, yes, that was me type situation. But he wasn't buying it. And Clyde just said, you know what? He pretty much told him, like, hey, I know you and my wife are doing it. And this is what he said. And even though Jack showed Clyde the video of him in that dominatrix theme, kinky stuff, Clyde was like, you know, you F my wife, now I'm going to effing you up. And told him, go get a lawyer. And we see Detective Jack just freaking out. He's like, I'm going to arrest him, but never did. And then Detective Pierre visited Anna's mother, and she realized the condition that Anna's mom is in. And, I feel a little suspicious right here. I think Anna's mom is probably playing stupid on purpose. I think she was protecting her daughter Anna in this, right? I think like the tea thing was a little bit obvious for me, and I'm like, wait a second, did she purposely pretend that she didn't know how to make tea or coffee or whatever it was she was offering the detective? And I think Anna's mom was playing stupid on purpose. I think she was pretending at this moment that her dementia kicked in. Because, boy, the detective felt bad, even asked Anna about some stuff, but said, hey, I can relate to this situation. And I think Anna's mom pulled that off really well, I think. And then after that, we get to another scene, and Detective Jack Harper's in his office, and his sister visits him, and she was getting ready to confess something because she's worried that she could be next. She's saying, oh my gosh, all my classmates that I used to kick it with are getting murdered. Maybe I'm next. And she was getting ready to tell her brother something, but Detective Jack interrupted her because he got a paperwork of list of names, and guess whose name on the list that set him off? Richard Jones. And he goes all the way down to the bar where all the media reporters hang out, confronts him about it, and Richard Jones talks about that there was a stalker that was stalking his wife, and it got a little heated up, and this stalker, I guess, went and attacked Lexi, his wife, and I guess he defended her and got physical, but he didn't beat the dog crap out of her. That's what he was basically saying. But of course, two guys who have feelings for Anna because they both are doing the nasty with her, two different times obviously, but Richard said a slight word, a smart ass remark, and then Detective Jack Harper punched him in the face, and they start brawling, and now Detective Jack Harper is off the case. Well, now he's in trouble about that, but he's not going to press charges because Anna reminded him, hey, if you do, and then I have to tell your wife, we were banging. And he's like, oh, okay, we're going that way, okay. And then Detective Pira and Zoe, the sister of Jack Harper, had a conversation. She was explaining to the detective that Catherine Kelly is the fifth member, and that got her thinking, wait a second, everybody's connected, Now she's realizing that Detective Jack is lying about some stuff. And, because again, we get to a scene where I can't really say because I don't want to be restricted on YouTube, but a bad situation happened when Anna was 16 years old, and it explains what happened, and there was a lot of alcohol, and a bunch of grown men did something extremely bad to Catherine A. Kelly. And Rachel Hopkins made some money off him by selling some photos of the girls in their bras and stuff, which was also bad. And now it seems like Lexi Jones is out for revenge because we find out that she could be the one. Maybe Catherine is the sister of Lexi Jones. Maybe they're sisters, and she's out to revenge for her sister, because at the end of this episode, Detective Jack finds his sister dead in the bathtub, and that's how this episode ended. Now, I'm not really sure, but I think that there's more to this. I think there's a plot twist. I think that because I'm thinking Lexi Jones and Catherine A. Kelly are sisters. Now, again, Lexi Jones has the last name Jones. She has her husband's last name, obviously due to marriage. And I don't remember anybody mention Lexi Jones' maiden name. So I'm thinking they're sisters. I'm thinking Catherine and Lexi are sisters. I don't know who's the oldest or the youngest sister, but if I had to guess, I think Lexi is the oldest sister, and I think Catherine is the youngest sister. And I really think that maybe this is all about getting back at those girls for doing that to her sister, because grown men did something really bad to an underage girl. And I can see that being as vengeful, but this, to me, I gotta say, that was like intense, uncomfortable, and mind-blowing. Like, this was like, so far this show has the same vibes as Pretty Little Liars, shows like The Fosters, and just other shows like that. Riverdale, basically, in a way, but this is much adult version, much darker, much grittier to it. But boy, this was nuts, and it's sad, obviously, because that's a tragic to see that, and to reveal that could be this is the main reason why now those girls who are adults now in this timeline era are getting pretty much murdered. This is basically what's very clear now in episode 5. This is a revenge thing. This ain't really about Detective Jack Harper, because as right now, it looks like he never went to this school, because this was an all-women's school. And, I think this is more about the women in this show. Now, this is more about Anna, Lexi, and whoever else is around. But you know what else I think? Something's just telling me that Anna's mom is involved some way, somehow. I just don't know how, but something is telling me that she might have done the murder. She might have murdered Rachel Hopkins. That's what the vibe I'm getting to. I don't know why, but I just got a feeling about that. But I'll definitely watch the next episode to see if I'm right. But I don't know if that's true. But what makes more sense to me besides Anna's mom is really, I think this is a revenge story. And I think Lexi is out to get revenge. And it's going to be interesting. Does she get Anna? Is Anna was as mean as Rachel and Helen was? Because Zoe says she wasn't like into it. Like, the one thing they talked about in this episode too was they learned that only the girls knew how to jimmy the double doors, but Zoe, Jack Harper's sister, she said that she wasn't like, she was skipping school. She didn't really care about her education like that, and it wasn't that serious. And so the only ones who took their education more serious was Rachel and Anna and Helen, I guess. And so that, to me, I was like, okay, so this has to be a revenge thing, right? And Anna knows this is a revenge thing. I think Anna knows that, maybe that somebody's out to get her. I don't think it was Anna. I don't think Anna did the crime now. I think it was a whole different person, which I think now I'm thinking this is Lexi who did the murder. And maybe she's just getting revenge for her sister. That's what I'm thinking based off of this. But this was a revealing episode. But again, we got one more episode left, which is episode 6. And so this is the time now that they're just going to reveal a lot and get ready to unveil the whole story in the next episode. So this was really good, really intense. And, one thing I liked about this episode, I got about 3 things I liked about this. And I'll start with the first one. The first one I liked about this episode was I like that we are seeing these characters' attitude and the tone of these characters change. And it's all of them. Like, here's an example of what I mean by that. We'll use Richard Jones, right? So we know that the hotel room that Richard Jones and Anna were staying in, somebody canceled it, and it was a woman from the news station. And it seems like this is Lexi who did that, because Richard said, "Oh, my parents or the in-laws, his in-laws, basically Lexi Jones's parents, have a summer getaway place, and it's not too far." And he convinced Anna to go with him. Now, that's a little scary because, you're going in there, right? And they're driving, and we're seeing that flashback, right? When she has the flashback, like, this is the area that it may happen. And we get there, and now it's a little creepy. And now they get to the house, and he's like, she's scared. Anna's scared now. And Richard does like, well, there's nobody going to come here at this time. But it looks cool. It looks nice. And then, boom. She sees what's going on. We see Catherine and her sister Lexi in the same photo, it looks like. And to me, this was, again, the Richard Jones throughout the first episode. He just seems like a dude that just likes to sleep around. I never really thought the cameraman was the guy to do something shady or be a part of something of a murderous crime, right? Or be associated with it. He just always, to me, he just seems like a regular guy, maybe just an unfaithful husband. And yes, when we find out that he had a domestic abuse on his record, they never really touched upon it, but it was well known in this episode. And they stayed away from, we haven't seen this character in a few more episodes, but it did make sense. And depending on his thing, but is it really that domestic? Is it really like, what is this? But they set the tone so up with this. So now he seems a little bit of like a darker side. His attitude, his posture, you see him walk a little bit different. He seems more violent, right? And we're seeing like not so innocent. And I thought, okay, that's a just example of changing the tone on a character within a series or a movie type, right? Especially in this type of murder mystery show. And we also now, in this episode, Jack Harper looks more innocent. I think his only wrong was that he was banging Rachel Hopkins. I think that's his only crime in this, which is just him cheating on Anna, right? And they talked about, and they had a scene about that. But now this makes him look innocent, but this makes Anna look more guilty. Like, it's like her past is coming back. Maybe this is just karma. Collecting rent. The rent's due, right? Like one of those moments. So I like the tone of just the way they do that with the characters. The second thing I liked about this episode, the second thing that I liked too was, like I said earlier, this episode started where Anna was being the narrator, and the theme was her just talking about anger, and like it's where you need to place your anger. And this whole episode, it seems like all the characters were angry. It's just Anna herself was the only one who knew how to put her anger in the right place, while everybody else was ready to throw hands or just be a smart ass to each other. Or, you know, for Jack, he gets when he's angry, he just goes berserk. He lets his anger blind him. And it did it twice, one with Clyde and the second time with Richard Jones, because of just trying to hurry up, because he's trying to cover up something, that the fact that him and Rachel did the nasty. And the third thing that I liked about this episode is the way they're presenting Anna in this is like she has like a different personality or lives a double life, or she's more than what she's being perceived or she's showing us on this show. It makes it very interesting. Like there's a darker side of her. Like there's the evil side of Anna. And like maybe she's willing to do things for her career that just she's not afraid to get her hands dirty type vibe. And, you know, this puts a lot of like eyes on the television of wondering what's Anna's next move. So it's going to be very interesting what they reveal in episode 6, but this was a really good episode. And if I had to give it a 1 out of 10, I'm definitely going to give it a 6. Really good, really good. You know, this episode was more about being the bridge to episode 6 and setting up the tone and what's to come, and that there's a killer on the loose right now just getting revenge. So who knows? Does Anna get it or not? We'll find out. But thank you guys so much. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment Old Fisted Channel. Subscribe. Hit that notification button so you can always be updated with all my latest content. Thank you guys, and peace